Okay. All right. Hey, thanks everyone for coming. I'm Cole Joplin. The talk is Dynamic Machine Learning in iOS, and my subtitle is Breadcrumb of Apple's Edge AI, which I will explain what I mean by that. This is actually a talk that I did at my company like 2 years ago during COVID. So I didn't actually do this talk in front of anyone at CocoaHeads, and I've since updated it for sort of a primer of what I think is coming. So let's move on. So what is dynamic ML, dynamic machine learning? 2 years ago with iOS 15, they came up with the Create ML framework that you could use. And that's what, that was the concept of dynamic ML. So Create ML is leveraging core ML, and that's what's actually talking to the CPU, the GPU, and the neural engine. The idea, and I'll show the resources later on, the idea is that you can actually create your own machine learning models on device from scratch, train them, update them. And this is 2 years old. Nobody really paid much attention to it. I did though. Part of the Edge AI is no server-based processing. So if you're familiar with like ChatGPT or a lot of the large language models, it's all going off to server. Whereas Apple's strategy, it appears, is that they're going to do on device, which has some advantages, particularly latency. Okay, so why would you want to use dynamic ML, let's say iOS? One of those things could be identifying objects, things in images, sound, video, and whenever we show classifiers, that's basically what this is. So identification is one. You can actually have app experiences that evolve based on how the user is using your app. And that's a strategy that I'm going to show in the demo. You can show pre-filtered data based upon that. So in other words, how does that manifest itself? You can take large amounts of data and just push it down to things that are important. And another thing you can do is show app shortcuts. So the video that demonstrated this whenever it was introduced was a food ordering app. And the concept was the user always orders soup for lunch. So whenever they would go into the app would actually offer up, hey, we noticed that it's lunchtime and you're going, for this thing, can we offer you soup? So that's a shortcut. And feel free to stop and ask questions anytime. Okay, so let's do a Create ML primer. What's involved with it? Create ML has two basic types of models. These are classifiers and regressors. So a classifier always returns a label. So a good example is you have an image of a bowl of fruit and it notices there's an apple. It comes back with a label, a string, which is, oh, I recognize that there's an apple here. A classifier returns, a regressor returns a score. So just like in the coordinate system, it's +1 to -1 is the range on that. So if you're selecting something in a positive way, it gets a positive score. And for all those things that you haven't selected, you would actually train as a negative score. And so here is a wonderful list of the model types starting in 15 and with more specifics in 16. So they, and you can actually customize these models as well, beginning in iOS 16. It's a very long list, as you can see. Okay, demo. The demo that I have is based upon NOTAMs, which is notice to airmen, so it's sort of for pilots. And pilots, whenever they're getting ready to go to a destination, please stop sending me messages, everyone. They have very cryptic data that they can read of all the things that are happening at or around the airport that they have as their destination. So this demo basically is going to allow the pilot to start selecting things, and then we're going to train and create a filtered list based on it. Very important point, simulator is not supported. You must run this on device. So let's go ahead and do a demo. Okay, that was weird. All right, let's run the demo. Okay, hopefully everyone can see this. So this is basically just a list of airports. And I have data that's actually inside the app itself, so I don't have to connect to the outside. For fun, I'm going to choose Salt Lake City as my destination, as my airport that I care about. The next tab that I have is actually showing the raw data. And it's not updating the screen at all.
There's a disconnected notification in the corner.
Okay.
Did you make a blood sacrifice for the demo guys?
I should have. Okay, all right, here we go. So these are NOTAMs, cryptic. These used to be printed out, by the way, by pilots before they would take off someplace. So as you can see, there's some pretty obscure looking stuff here. But let's say things that I care about as a pilot are things like an obstruction. So I'll select that, that's important. Navigational aids I care about, and another obstruction. I don't really care about anything else. All this other stuff doesn't mean anything to me. So now I'm going to choose train. And just like that, we've already created and trained a model. So if we actually go over to the filtered results, it's only showing those things in those categories that I chose. So here's where the fun part comes in. Now that we have our model loaded up in memory and it's ready to go, I could check out LAX and just go to the filtered results, which is using the results from our model, and it's showing me only obstructions. Do we have a nav aid in here for fun? I didn't check. Lots of obstructions. Man, don't go to LA. All right, let's pick something else. There we go. And there's a nav aid. So that's our